Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, I have something really cool prepared for you guys. I'm going to be in the kitchen with Grammy and you're going to see how she prepares all of her Christmas baked goods. Now, every Christmas Grammy makes fruitcake, a version of light fruitcake, as well as sponge cake. And all of these delicious things are baked goods that she shares with family and friends around the holidays. This is a tradition that she's done ever since she came to this country. She always bakes or makes something around the holidays to share it with family and friends. And of course, us at home, we love eating it too. Hot cup of tea, hot cup of coffee, or just even by themselves, it is so good. I know in any Guyanese, Indo-Caribbean, Trini household, this is a tradition in most households where people will bake all of these things and share it with family or friends. It's really a way of paying it forward or just showing somebody that you love them and making their day a little sweeter. So before I get into the video, I wanted to mention that throughout the video, I do say that this is black cake every once in a while. Now, I'm going to correct myself and we'll just call it fruitcake. The reason being is because Grammy's fruitcake, or her version of black cake basically, the only difference is that she does not add in any browning or that dark brown color. So it doesn't have a very dark or black color as normal black cake would. That's because Grammy doesn't like the taste of the burnt sugar that you add in or the browning. And we also don't really like the look of that dark cake in our family. Not really our thing. So just gonna correct myself from now because I don't want anybody hating on this video and telling us that we don't know how to make black cake. As Grammy says, everybody has their own way of making everything, so just keep the comments respectable. So I hope you guys enjoyed your holiday season. This is the way that we celebrate and something that we practice throughout our holiday season, so I hope you guys enjoy. Alright, so the first thing that Grammy's doing is she's putting brown sugar and the butter in the mixer to go ahead and cream first. And how many pounds of sugar and butter?
3 pounds of sugar, 3 pounds of butter.
Okay. And the sugar you could lessen or increase depending on how sweet you want it.
I'm making 3 pounds of fruitcake.
Yeah. So we're going to be doing the light version of the fruitcake first, and then we're going to be doing the regular dark version. So this is like part 1. This is the I can't believe it's not butter that she's using. But you could also use like the stick butter if you want.
Regular butter, but I prefer using this.
Okay. So if they're using regular butter, they should use salted butter, right?
No, regular unsalted butter.
Unsalted butter. And she's just gonna leave this in the mixture for a couple of minutes until it whips and gets light and fluffy. And while the butter and the sugar is mixing, she went ahead and added in some mix essence, right? Mm-hmm. And the mix essence is just a taste. We'll leave the measurements down below, but you can always add in more or less depending on how much you want in it. So while the butter and the sugar is fluffing in the mixer, Grammy's also chopping up some cherries that we're going to use to put in the black cake, the fruit cake, as well as the sponge cake that we make later. So this is what the butter and the sugar mixture looks like after it's been beating for about 5 to 10 minutes. It's gotten lighter in color, it's also gotten fluffy, and all of the sugar melted in the butter. And we just emptied it into a very tall pot. And the reason we did that is because it's going to be easier for her to mix since we're making a bigger batch of cake. Alright, so Grammy went ahead and we cracked 36 eggs, and this is going to be for the light fruit cake that we're making. She's putting about half of the eggs in her mixer first to whip a little bit, and the reason she does half and half is because the mixer is like a little too small for all of these eggs. So she's going to do it in batches, and once the eggs get a little fluffy, right, or a little frothy on top, then she's going to go ahead and add it to the butter mixture. And to this egg mixer, she's also going to go in with just a touch of that mixed essence as well. So once the butter and the brown sugar are done beating and they got light and fluffy, we added it into this tall pot, so this way we could have it easier for mixing since we're making such a large batch. And Grammy started to add in her soaked fruits into the butter and the sugar mixture. And this is before she adds in those eggs that are already beating.
It's basically like when you make sponge cake.
But you're just adding a little bit of fruit. So this one the Grammy's making is the light version of the fruitcake. So basically it's like half the amount of fruit that you would add to the normal fruitcake or block cake. And once you add the fruits into that butter and sugar mixture, you have to mix it really, really well to get all the fruits properly incorporated. So once she's gone in with all of her soaked fruits, she went in with some of those freshly chopped cherries, and she's gonna mix that in as well. So the cherries are optional because she already has some soaking with the fruits, right?
Yeah.
But we like it when there's some like little chunks of cherries inside the cake as well. So once she's gone in with all of the fruits and those cherries and she mixed them up really well, she's gonna go in with all of the eggs that she was beating in her stand mixer. And once she's gone in with those eggs and she's mixed it up really well, she's also going in with a little touch of cinnamon and she's gonna mix that in as well. Do you add any more spices or just the cinnamon?
Cinnamon.
And once she mixed in that cinnamon, she's also going in with her flour at this point. And we're making 3 pounds of the fruit cake, so that means that she's using 3 pounds of flour for it. And she's going to start mixing that in really, really well. So this is the baking powder that Grammy's adding after we added in all of the other ingredients. And we're just going to mix all of these things in and then it'll be done. Alright, so here's just a little trick that Grammy just taught me. She said that what you're going to want to do is take a foil pan or any type of pan, fill it up with some water and leave it at the bottom of the oven when you're allowing the oven to heat up and as the cakes are baking. The reason you do this is so this way when the cakes are baking they don't burn and they stay nice and moist in the oven. So at this point I'm going to preheat the oven to 350 degrees and then we'll start baking the cakes. And now Grammy is greasing all of the trays to bake the cake. She went ahead and she brushed it liberally with butter in the middle and then after that she added some flour and she's just tapping the flour out now. She's brushing the pans liberally with butter so this way all of the cakes come out. And then after she puts the butter in, she's going to sprinkle some flour in as she did here. And then she's going to shake out all of the flour. So this is what the batter looks like after we finished whipping it for a little bit. We added all of the ingredients and mixed it until there was no more lumps of flour or anything like that. And now Grammy is taking it and she's putting it into her prepared pans. So while Grammy and I put the lighter version of the fruitcake to bake in the oven, she started mixing the regular fruitcake or the black cake, the darker version to that cake. And in the mixer here, she has her butter, her sugar, and a little bit of the mixed essence mixing away and getting a little lighter and fluffier in here. Alright, so this is the butter and the sugar after it was mixed up and made smooth. And now Grammy's adding in all of her soaked fruits. And this is 3 pounds of black cake you're making, right? Mm-hmm. So that means she's adding in 3 pounds of fruits, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And how long did you let your fruits soak for? 1 year?
No.
Just a couple of months or weeks? No. And once Grammy adds in all of those fruits and starts to mix them in, we're also going to go in with some of these chopped maraschino cherries. More? Good? So once we finished mixing all of the fruits with the butter and the sugar mixture and the mixed essence, Grammy went in with all of those eggs that we mixed up and we got frothy. So you just want to mix this up until everything's well combined and all of the fruits and the eggs are mixed together.
That's 2 pound flour, right?
Yeah.
So you put that 3 pound flour to you.
Yeah. So once you add in your eggs, you can start adding in your flour gradually. Throw it on. Mm-hmm. And now she's also going in with a little bit of cinnamon on top of the flour that we added. And she does not add a whole bunch of spices. All she does is she adds the cinnamon with the flour. She's also going in with some baking powder now. And some people don't add baking powder to their cake, but that's if you like a really, really dense and heavy cake. We don't really like the cake that heavy and dense. So once we were finished beating the butter and the sugar for the sponge cake, we started working on the eggs. So we cracked all of the eggs and we separated the egg whites from the egg yolks. We put the egg whites in the mixture and now we're frothing them up. And while those egg whites were frothing, what we went ahead and did was took that butter and sugar mixture and we put it into a bigger bowl or a bigger pot to mix up. And we're adding in our flour and we're also going in with a little bit of yellow food coloring. My grandmother likes to add yellow food coloring to her sponge cake because she likes that rich yellow color that it adds. So we're going to mix in this flour really well, and then once this flour is mixed in, then we can go ahead and mix in those whipped egg whites. Also in this mixture, we do have all of those egg yolks that we whisked together, and we added them in. The only thing is you want to separate the egg whites from the egg yolks, so this way the egg whites can get frothy and allow the sponge cake to rise really well. And once your egg whites are done whipping up, what you're going to go ahead and do is add them into the mixture with the flour and the butter and basically the whole mixture. The egg whites need to be the last thing that goes in because if you add them in the beginning, they'll be stirred up and then they'll deflate and the cake won't rise nicely. And here I am greasing the dishes that we're going to bake the sponge cakes in. Again, just brushing it very liberally with some butter and then sprinkling on some flour and then shaking that excess flour out and coating it really, really well. And then they're ready for the batter. So what we've gone ahead and done, and after we grease the pan, we're going in with our sponge cake batter. You just want to get it into an even layer. Again, you can make it as thick or as thin as you want. And then once you're finished doing that, you're going to start laying the cherries on top of the cake. Now, what you want to do with these cherries is coat them in a little bit of flour. The reason being is you put them in the flour so this way they don't sink to the bottom of the cake, and you'll have some beautiful cherries all over the top of the cake. So we're going to go ahead and sprinkle them on, and then we're going to pop them into our oven. We're baking these at 350. All of the cakes are baked at 350, and we just bake it until the top is golden brown. A little tip from Grammy is that you should not open the oven while the cake is baking. The reason being is because those egg whites can deflate. So what we do is let it cook for about maybe 15 minutes, and then at that point it's pretty safe to open the oven because the cake will have set. Alright guys, I really hope you enjoyed that video as much as I did. I had a great time with Grammy in the kitchen baking all of these delicious cakes. We made regular fruitcake, light fruitcake, as well as sponge cake, and all of our family loved it, our friends loved it, and anybody who ate a piece of this cake for the holiday season truly enjoyed it. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please go ahead and give it a nice big thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel if you're not subscribed yet, and keep leaving all of those awesome comments down below. Let me know what you guys baked this holiday season and what's your favorite thing to eat during the holiday season. Bye guys!